So you want to learn about cells. Well, there are two kinds of cells: eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells have no nucleus or membrane-bound organelles. This means that the DNA just free floats in the cytoplasm. The only cells that are prokaryotic are bacteria cells. There are also animal and plant cells. The difference being is that plant cells have a cell wall, they have chloroplasts, and their vacuoles are much bigger. Let's start with plant cells. They have chloroplasts, which is where photosynthesis takes place. Sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide are taken in and turned into glucose and oxygen, which are used to create energy. Also, plants have cell walls. They don't add protection against invaders, they provide structural support. They are the reason plants are able to stand up. Now let's look at a typical plant cell. They always have a nucleus, or else they would die. The nucleus is made up of three parts: the nuclear membrane, the nuclear matrix, and the nucleolus. The nuclear membrane is similar to the plasma membrane. It keeps good things in and bad things out. Next is the nuclear matrix. This creates most of the nucleus. Finally, the nucleolus. This is where ribosomes are made. Let's take a look at the mitochondria. This is where cellular respiration takes place. Cellular respiration is the process of taking in glucose and oxygen and turning it into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. It's the exact opposite of photosynthesis and is what gives the cell its energy. But where does the cell keep its food? The vacuole is like the storage facility. It holds the cell's food and the waste too. Keep in mind that in plant cells, this organelle is much larger than its animal cousin. How does the cell keep germs out? How does it let molecules through? One of the largest organelles the cell has, the plasma membrane is like the cell's skin. It is responsible for letting molecules pass through when they need to, and keeping molecules in when they are needed, and repelling invaders. It has many methods to maintain the cell's homeostasis. When it takes energy to move substances through, it is called active transport. When it is not, it is called passive transport. The simplest form of passive transport is diffusion. Particles simply move from areas of high concentration to low concentration, just like people in a crowd. Also, there's osmosis, which is movement of water because of the amount of salt in two areas. If the area outside of the cell has more salt than there is on the inside, the water moves out of the cell. The same is also true in reverse. Two types of active transport are exocytosis and endocytosis. In endocytosis, the plasma membrane looks like it's hugging the molecule and it pulls it in. Exocytosis is the same thing, just reverse. But what happens if invaders have made it past the plasma membrane? Is this the end for our cell? Well, that's why cells have lysosomes. When a lysosome finds a germ, yeah. Inside of the lysosomes are proteins and digestive enzymes. The enzymes break down invaders, but this isn't the only job. It also disposes of dead cell parts and unneeded biomolecules. This is a ribosome. It takes the instructions that DNA gives and uses them to make proteins. Proteins are what really make us, us. DNA is just the instruction booklet that tells the ribosome how to make the proteins. As you can see, ribosomes are made up of two subunits and are very small. The endoplasmic reticulum has two parts, rough and smooth. The rough endoplasmic reticulum is covered in ribosomes, remember them, and is a large part of creating proteins. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum has no ribosomes, but it does create lipids or fats, and is largely responsible for all the membranes in the cell, including the plasma membrane. Biomolecules are sent from the endoplasmic reticulum to the Golgi apparatus. This organelle rearranges them and sends them out of the cell. You see those little pods that are floating out there? They are transport vesicles that take the molecules to the plasma membrane or wherever else they are being sent. The Golgi apparatus is also where the lysosomes are made, which means that the Golgi apparatus is a very important part of maintaining the homeostasis of the cell. But what is it that fills in the space between all of these organelles? There must be something there. Well, that would be the cytoplasm. How should I describe it? Yep, that about sums it up. It's like a jello-like substance that all of the organelles float in. But now it is time to ask the ultimate question. Where do cells come from? Well, the simplest answer is that they come from cells, specifically the process called mitosis. During mitosis, the cell copies all of the DNA, then splits into 2 cells. These cells later perform mitosis again, making a total of 4 cells, then 8, then 16, 32, 64, and so on. Thank you for watching. You now have the knowledge and power to take over the world. Please do not use it for evil.